It's time for a new episode of Harsh Reviews. Today, I'm going to be looking at the game where the Mario Party series all began with Mario Party 1. This game has had its ups and downs throughout the year with how people have viewed it. So today we're going to be finding out whether or not it's good or if it's just not up to par anymore. Of course, if you're enjoying the series, consider liking the video and subscribing to show your support and to see the future videos that I'll be making. Anyway, let's get into it. Mario Party has 50 minigames, and each of them, just like the last time, can only earn 1 point. Of the 50 minigames, some of them that I enjoy are the ones like Facelift, Crazy Cutters, Balloon Burst, and Platform Peril. However, some of the minigames that I specifically don't like are Bash and Cash, Piranha's Pursuit, and Paddle Battle. So, just very quickly, here is the list of minigames that I do enjoy, and here is the list of the minigames that I don't. So of course, out of the 50 points that this section can get, the minigames will be getting 38 out of 50 points. One of the big aspects that some people don't enjoy about the minigames in this game is that when you're doing a 1v3, a 2v2, or just a 4-player minigame where one specific person can lose, like Hot Rope Jump or Hop a Bomb, the loser or losers will have to give up the money to the winners rather than the winners just getting the money from the game itself. I don't mind this, and honestly, I could see this being like an option in newer Mario parties. I will say though that when you have unfair 1v3 minigames, it definitely can be frustrating. So because half of the 1v3 minigames are like this, where it's just completely unfair for one of the sides or it's just impossible for a specific side to make any money, I'm going to be docking 3 points at the end. If everyone could have a chance of making money in the minigames, then it'd be fine, but I think this is the fairest way of going about this. Next up, we have the boards, and oh boy, there are 8 of them, so we're probably going to be going through these maybe just a little quicker than I was in the Superstars video. Each one is ranked out of 5, so let's get going. First up, we have DK's Jungle Adventure. It has womps that block you from proceeding in the direction that others have gone. It has the happening spaces that force you to go back to the beginning. And it has doors that only open if you have 20 coins, which you will need in order to get at least 2 of the 7 stars. I will say the one thing that I really enjoy this map above some of the others is that there's 2 boos instead of 1, and because I like Havoc, that can cause a lot of crazy situations. Overall, I'm going to be giving Donkey Kong's Jungle Adventure a 3.5 out of 5. Up next, we have Peach's Birthday Cake. This board has happening spaces that only allow you to place piranha plants to take a star for 30 coins, whereas Superstars allows you to plant one for 5 coins to take coins as well. Also in this version, the Goomba is in front of the star, which makes it a little harder to afford the star, which I have no problem in, but the Bowser section does suck a little bit because you can get stuck in it forever if you're completely unlucky. If they had it where you went in once, but then could keep going afterwards, that would be for the best in my opinion. Another thing that kind of sucks is that if you happen to get the star and want to get back to it, you need to go about 45 spaces. And if you roll an average of, let's say, 5, then you're only going to be getting about 2 stars if you play a 20-turn game, since there's no items that allow you to go more than 10 spaces at a time, if you even have enough coins by the time you get back to the star, that is. And finally, unlike Mario's Rainbow Castle, this board doesn't even have slight options for you to go different ways, which just gets rid of any kind of potential strategy. Peach's Birthday Cake is going to be getting a 2 out of 5. Next up, we have Yoshi's Tropical Island. Like I said in my Superstars video, I was really happy when this board got in because I've always had a blast on this board, even when it does screw me with the star going back and forth. Both sides of the map have their advantages. Left side has Koopa, right side has Boo. So, if you want to have the chance to steal stars, you can stay on the right. Whereas if you want to guarantee that you're getting 10 coins every time you get back to the start, just stay on the left. The thwomps, of course, make it to where you can be nice and set the number of coins low, or you can make it really, really high. Overall, Yoshi's Tropical Island is going to be getting a 4 out of 5. Next up, we have Wario's Battle Canyon. If I'm going to be straight up with you guys, I don't enjoy the board. The main gimmick is that when you blast off to the next island, it is just completely random on where you land, so you can just easily miss the star because you just so happen to time the press wrong, and now you're not going to be able to get the star. And if you manage to do that and everybody else manages to do it as well, sometimes you're lucky if you only get like 1 to 3 stars, even though everybody went to the island that has the stars a ton of times. It's just not fun. The only saving grace is that the fly guy can be sometimes used for strategy, and there's a boo. So yeah, Wario's Battle Canyon is going to be getting a 1 out of 5. Now on to a more lighter note, we have Luigi's Engine Room. With Luigi's Engine Room, there are paths that are open and closed on each turn that also can be manually changed at specific spots of the boards. Also, there are a lot of pipes around the map, and every pipe leads back to the beginning. That also brings you to a boo. There are some unfortunate things, like there are some spots that you can get stuck in, like the top left if you're very unlikely, and very minimal happening spaces. But overall, the board is fun and it's not perfect, so I'm going to be giving Luigi's Engine Room a 3.5 out of 5. Now we're going to be moving on to the main man's board with Mario's Rainbow Castle. This is a board that only has 1 star location, like with Peach's birthday cake, but also gives you some paths to deviate and kind of slow down if you happen to be getting close to the star location and Bowser's there, because he can also be there and he'll take 40 coins from you if you get there while he's there. Also, one of the deviations has Boo. You also have the happening spaces that can change who's out in front of the star location with either Toad or Bowser. For a seemingly one-way board, it does it decently fine, so I'm going to be giving Mario's Rainbow Castle a 3 out of 5. Now we're going to be moving on to Bowser's Magma Mountain, the first Bowser board in the series, and boy, there is a lot to talk about. The happening spaces turn every blue space into red spaces until the game gets back to that player who landed on it 2 turns later. Bowser in this map also can take either 20 coins or a star, and guess what? It is all up to a dice roll. In fact, to move through the board quicker, there are a few different paths that you can take, but again, they're all determined by dice rolls, and to even use them you have to pay 10 coins for just the chance to move through it. All in all, Bowser's Magma Mountain just isn't the best, and I'm going to be giving it a 1.5 out of 5. And lastly, we have the Eternal Star. This board is very unique from every other board in the entirety of Mario Party, just because it has 7 star locations that spawn from the start, and the way that you get them, it's going to be a little different. You pay the normal 20 coins, of course, but you have to roll a dice to get them. However, thankfully, they made it to where you roll an 8 to 10 rather than a 1 to 10. The big thing about this board itself is that it's connected through portals, and you have to kind of keep track of what portal goes to what section, because the happening space brings everybody back to the start every time. I don't know if the portals change each time that happens or only when the game starts, but that doesn't really change my thoughts on the board, so I'm going to give Eternal Star a 3 out of 5. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to the quote-unquote items in Mario Party 1. There aren't necessarily items in this game like how you would picture them in the later games of the series, but it does have a dice that allows you to gain the amount of coins that you roll, lose the amount of coins that you roll an 8 to 10, roll a 1 or 3, and use a warp block. The one thing about these items is that you can't really choose when to use them since they appear randomly, and you also have to unlock them first in the shop, then activate them in the bank to be able to use them. There's also items that you can buy to make it to where either Koopa or Boo don't show up on the boards if you want to do that as well. And lastly, we have the coin boxes that give you the 10% interest on coins that you make at the end of the board, and one that you have to gamble them in either double or half of what you collect. Overall, the items are alright. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Lastly, let's talk about the overall experience and extra modes that Mario Party 1 gives us. First off, this game has a single player mode that has you going through and playing all the minigames, but if you choose to do so, there are some parts that you can kind of skip over, or you can do them all for the extra challenge. Next, we have the minigame house that has all the minigames in it that you have to buy, or you can play them once for 10 coins. It also has the minigame stadium that acts like a board, but you only land on spaces and then play minigames rather than going to... What the fuck? What? It also has the minigame stadium that acts like a board, but you only land on spaces and play minigames rather than going to collect stars. For that, it's just get the most coins. Like I said before, there's also the Mushroom Shop and Mushroom Bank where you can get specific things for boards, and you can also buy Bowser's Magma Mountain there as well. Also, Bowser is much more evil in this game, especially on the boards, but he's also pretty evil with his space, so that's a plus for me. Overall though, out of the 15 points that I'm using for this section, I'm going to be giving it a 9 out of 15. So now let's see where this all ends up. So out of the 115 points that Mario Party 1 has to offer, it gets 72.5. But with the 3 points taken off from earlier, it goes down to a 69.5 instead, making Mario Party 1 have a 6.3 out of 10. Before we go though, I figured we would make this a little more fun. And we're going to be putting all the Mario parties in a tier list at the end of every video, with the grades being specific letters like 9.5 and up being S, and under 5 being a double F. So the Mario Party Superstars will be going into the top of B, while Mario Party 1 is going to reside in D. So let me know down in the comments below, do you think I was too harsh on Mario Party 1 or not? Also in the comments below, you can do your own little harsh review to see where you would put it. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time.